So you know how you got to make a video on a particular day, but you keep putting it off, and the longer you put it off, the harder it is to pull it back on again. So this is probably almost tomorrow by the time I post this, at least in the UK. If you haven't, if you're not aware of this channel, if you're new to us, this is called the Movie Reviewers 100. We're a collaboration channel. It's 7 guys, including myself, talking about various films throughout the week. We have themes every week. This week our theme is Matt Damon. And I decided, since it was 1 week ago, to talk a little bit about Matt Damon's appearance on Jimmy Kimmel last week. Jimmy Kimmel is an American talk show. But before I do, I would first like to say a few things about Matt Damon. I despise Matt Damon. I hate him with a fiery passion. Here's why. First of all, whenever Matt Damon appears in a serious film, and I mean, you know, a serious film as opposed to Jason Bourne, which isn't serious at all, he's oftentimes billed by the marketing department as Academy Award winner Matt Damon. You know, Invictus featuring Academy Award winner Matt Damon. You know, Hereafter starring Academy Award winner Matt Damon. This is slightly misleading. Matt Damon is indeed an Oscar winner, but he won his Oscar for writing, not for acting. When's the last time you saw the Blues Brothers billed as with an appearance by Academy Award winner Steven Spielberg, okay? I mean, it's not like he guest directed the movie, or anything else for that matter. Or Austin Powers and Goldmember. I mean, you know, if he got billed in that movie, it would be Steven Spielberg, not Academy Award winner Steven Spielberg, because he hasn't directed anything in Goldmember. Was it Goldmember? I can't remember which movie it is. Anyway, so it's, you know, and anyway, the script itself for Good Will Hunting, the one that he won the Oscar for, he didn't even write it all by himself. He had help from Ben Affleck, who's totally cool and way better than him, and probably wrote like 78% of that script, where Matt did the rest of it. Plus, they probably had help from, you know, professional screenwriters punching up the dialogue, and they were originally going to make it into a thriller, but then someone convinced them to make it into a straight drama. So, you know, I mean, it's not like he, you know, did it all by himself. Next, the Bourne legacy. Matt Damon decided at one point that after the Bourne Ultimatum, he wasn't going to play Jason Bourne anymore. So the studio, Universal's probably like, oh, well, we should reboot the character. Start over again with a different actor. Matt Damon's like, you ain't rebooting nothing, man. You gotta make it about some character other than Jason Bourne. They're like, but how are we supposed to call it the Bourne something if we can't use your character? If we can't use Jason Bourne? I mean, people reboot stuff all the time. Can't we? Can't we? Can't we? And Matt Damon's like, nope, I'm out of here. It's your problem, not mine. So Jeremy Renner had to play a character no one had ever heard of, but it still had to be called Bourne, thus the Bourne legacy. Oh, here's an interesting little tidbit for you. Matt Damon in an interview once talked about how a paparazzi approached him outside his house one day and said, excuse me, Mr. Matt Damon, would you mind doing something interesting for us so that we can take your picture and sell it to a magazine or a website or something like that? And he says, well, that's why I never do anything interesting. So you guys will leave me alone. The nerve of that guy! Honestly, paparazzi gotta make a living too. All they're doing is taking unauthorized pictures of famous people and selling them, you know, without their permission. What's so bad about that? Seriously. Well, what else about Matt Damon? He's not married to a famous actress. Lame. He's got 4 kids. Honestly, Matt Damon, never heard of overpopulation? Seriously. Oh, and he is the least cool member of the entire Ocean's cast. You know, I mean, Clooney, Brad Pitt, Don Cheadle, Bernie Mac, Andy Garcia, the twins, Elliot Gould, Carl Reiner, even the sweaty computer guy, Jonathan Levinson, is cooler than Matt Damon. Anyway, so I'm here to talk about his appearance on Jimmy Kimmel because it is the culmination of a long-standing feud between these two characters, okay? Jimmy Kimmel, very funny guy. Talk show host, you know, good with comedy, good with guest stars, whatever, but there was this running gag that he had on his show whereby, for the last several years, he would close each show by thanking his guests and thanking everyone for watching, then saying, apologies to Matt Damon, we ran out of time. Like Matt Damon is waiting to go on the show, but they ran out of time. They couldn't invite him to sit on the couch and, you know, plug his latest whatever, right? Did this on every single episode for years, okay? It's a joke. Obviously, it's a joke, you know? But then Matt Damon teams up with Jimmy Kimmel's girlfriend at the time, the comedian Sarah Silverman, and makes a little video for Jimmy, in which the both of them sing I'm bleeping Matt Damon to Jimmy Kimmel, you know? And there's guest stars and this whole big hullabaloo and whatever, and a lot of people thought it was really funny, I'm sure. And then Jimmy's like, ha ha ha, it's very funny, guys. And then a couple weeks later, he comes back with his own video, in which his song is called I'm Bleeping Ben Affleck, which was hilarious, man. And the song was way better, and it had tons of great guest stars. Don Cheadle appeared in it, you know, from the Ocean's films, you know, and Harrison Ford was in it, and Cameron Diaz was in it. It was amazing. They even had a Josh Groban cameo. If you're not familiar with Josh Groban, he's a singer. He's got a really rich voice, and he took the whole song and gave it his own little Josh Groban spin. Man, that guy's such an amazing, talented singer. I must have watched that one little clip of him singing I'm Bleeping Ben Affleck like 12 times before I went on with the rest of the video. It was really something. Anyway, so things are starting to get a little bit personal between these guys. You know, there's a lot of animosity, bad blood and what have you, you know? So, a week ago today, Jimmy Kimmel isn't hosting his own show. Instead, Matt Damon has him tied to a chair with a gag in his mouth saying, hey, guess what, everybody? I'm taking over the show for the night. It's going to be a whole lot better than it usually is. Yeah, right. Matt Damon's a stick in the mud, man. He's got nothing on Jimmy Kimmel, right? First he starts off going, here's all the great movies that have been in. Aren't I awesome? Yeah, that's hilarious. Then he says, I've got some great guest stars. I've got Sheryl Crow as a band leader. So obviously you're going to like this show so much better than you normally would if you watch Jimmy Kimmel. And then there's this running gag that they do throughout the whole thing. It's like, he wants someone to come on the show, and they're like, you want me to come on Jimmy Kimmel Live? Where's Jimmy? He's like, oh, he's not doing it. I'm hosting. I'm like, oh, that's great. I'd love to do it. Since Jimmy isn't there, they tell this same joke over and over and over again. So he starts bringing out guest stars. So first he brings out Andy Garcia, who's like his sidekick for the night. And then he brings out Nicole Kidman, and she's his first guest. And the first thing he asks her is, who'd you like to meet? Who's a great person you haven't met that you'd like to meet? And she goes, I'd kind of like to meet Gary Oldman. He's amazing. And Matt Damon goes, well, what a coincidence. We've got Gary Oldman backstage. We're going to bring him out right now. I'm like, yeah, sure. A coincidence? I don't think so. They planned all this ahead of time. That's ridiculous, you know. And then Gary Oldman comes out, and he's like, well, hey, you know, Gary Oldman, who's somebody you would like to meet? And he's like, well, gee, I've always wanted to meet Amy Adams. Amy Adams? Seriously, Gary Oldman? I know for a fact that Gary Oldman hates Amy Adams. He's got a blood vendetta against Amy Adams. You wanna know why? Matt Damon brought this up actually inadvertently during the interview. When the three of them were on the couch, he's just like, wow, there's like 40 Oscar nominations between us. Wrong! Gary Oldman has been nominated for only one Oscar nomination throughout his entire career. He's played Sirius Black, he's played Jim Gordon, he's played Drexel Spivey, he's played Sid Vicious, and yet he's only got one nomination for playing Stuart Smalley in Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. No, Smiley, sorry, Stuart Smiley. So here's Amy Adams sitting next to him. She's got 4 Oscar nominations already, 4 of them, you know. He wants to kill her. I just know it. And here's him sitting here smiling, pretending like he likes Amy Adams just because Matt Damon made him say it. Anyway, so after a little while, he starts bringing on more guest stars. He has Andy Garcia out in the street, and it's like, oh, he's throwing rocks at people and hitting famous people and then inviting them to come to the show. And it's the same joke over and over again. Matt, what are you doing there? Is Jimmy hosting? No, he's not here tonight. I'm hosting. It's like, well, great, that'll come on in because I hate Jimmy and he's terrible. Same joke over and over again. Now, Reese Witherspoon was one of these people, and she had a really good joke. She's like a mother of 3 kids, and she was out with her shopping bag. So she comes in and they look through her shopping bag, and it's nothing but booze, nothing but bottles of hardcore liquor, which is awesome. And Demi Moore comes in, she does the same gag, and they're all just like making fun of Jimmy. And then, of course, Sarah Silverman comes out. Sarah Silverman is now Jimmy Kimmel's ex-girlfriend, you know, so they had a fun time ripping on him and everything like that. And I like Sarah Silverman a lot, but this is a real missed opportunity here. Literally the best joke of the night, the very best joke of the whole night was Matt Damon saying to Sarah, so Sarah, what makes Jimmy Kimmel so funny? And she says, I don't know, what? That's it? That's all you got? Really? Oh, and I almost forgot about the tributes. Yeah, the video tributes from people like Sally Field and Oprah Winfrey. A whole bunch of people taped these segments that would air after the commercial break saying, Matt, I'm so great to see you hosting instead of Jimmy. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Now, first of all, they can't say you're doing a great job because they're all pre-taped segments, and there's no way that he was doing a great job or not. Secondly, of course, he wasn't doing a great job. He's dull. Matt Damon's just a dull guy. He had to bring in Robin Williams to tell jokes because he couldn't even do a monologue. Oh, and I forgot one other thing. Matt Damon had a script on his desk. You could clearly see it from a mile away. You know, it was just sitting there on his desk. You know, because he couldn't even remember the one joke that he was telling all night, that he's so much better than Jimmy Kimmel. I gotta tell you, man, I hate that guy. He's terrible. He was good in The Departed, though. Anyway, thanks for watching. We got a new theme next week, which is so much better than this one. And if you haven't seen the other guys' Matt Damon videos, because I'm closing out the week here, be sure to check them out. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.